It was a huge season for Fremantle midfielder Andrew Brayshaw. He's one of 3 nominations from the Dockers for the AFLPA MVP, and he was named vice-captain in the 22 under-22 team. And I'm also delighted to announce this morning that Andrew Brayshaw is the 2021 Jeff Christian medalist. At just 21 years of age, he's the equal second youngest ever to win the award alongside skipper Nat Fyfe, and he claims the honour with 30 votes, 8 clear of teammate David Mundy, as the leading player from either West Coast or Fremantle. As judged by our ABC experts, they vote 3-2-1 after every game the Eagles and Dockers play this season. Andrew, welcome to Sports Talk. Congratulations on a great season and this award. You've joined the likes of Chris Judd, Matthew Pavlich, Ben Cousins and Nat Fyfe. Congratulations.
Thank you very
much. Great to have you on board. How did you rank your...
Yeah, thanks for having me, first of all. It's a pretty amazing list to be a part of. I thought this season for me was another step forward. And obviously probably wasn't the result that we were looking for as a team, but I'm really happy with, this is the first time we've been fighting it out towards the end of the season since I've been here, so really happy with the year.
So your stats yourself across the 20 games, average more than 28 disposals, close to 4 clearances and 5 tackles a game. What did you think were the reasons for and you'd been tremendous before this year as well, but for such a big step up this year?
I think there was a lot more responsibility thrown my way this year. In previous years, I've probably played other roles outside of probably inside mid, so I've been flipping out onto a wing, going forward for a little bit, and probably struggled to really cement my spot as an inside midfielder, whereas this year I think I was given a fair opportunity in there to really sort of stamp my authority and have that consistency of playing in that same role every week. And I guess the guys around me as well really helped. Sean Darcy took a massive step this year, obviously being included in the squad of 40 for the All-Australian, so having him tap it down my throat as well really helps.
You did cop a bit more of attention this year from opposition teams. You were forced on occasions to cope with a tag. How do you think you handled that challenge?
Yeah, look, it's a challenge that I never really imagined that I'd have to sort of face that. So to get that attention early on in my career, I'm trying to sort of, take it in my stride and take it as a sign of respect. I guess if someone comes and plays on me, it means the opposition think that I'm a dangerous player. So, but yeah, it definitely has its challenges. Coming up against teams where you're the team target and you're pretty much getting, bashed all day around the ground, it's really challenging. It happened a couple of occasions throughout the year, and I think the first time it happened to me, I really struggled. I never really knew what to expect, but I've been chatting with blokes like Fyfe, Dave Mundy, these guys who sort of have experienced this for the last 10 years, and they've given me some pointers, and I think every time that I was tagged or a team target, I think I took a little step forward, so yeah.
Andrew, Mark Duffield, thanks for joining us on the show and congratulations on the award. The Dockers engine room is regarded as one of the younger and more exciting engine rooms in the competition, but obviously the elephant in the room is the looming departure of Adam Cerra. How big a loss is that going to be, and how do you envisage covering that loss in 2022?
Yeah, look, it's disappointing to see that Ches has requested a trade, and not only as a player, but one of my really close mates, so I'm going to be really sad to see him go. And he took another step forward this year, was an integral part of our midfield and provide us a lot of class on the outside. There's going to be a big gap to fill, but it provides opportunities for guys who, maybe are playing waffle and haven't had a chance at AFL level, or maybe even someone that we might look to try and get in the draft to fill that outside sort of skillful role. It's going to be a tough challenge because, he was a massive part of our engine room this season.
Who are the guys that we know of that are in the team at the moment that you think could gravitate into that role?
I guess Hayden Young is someone who is an awesome defender and he's got a laser left foot, who I could see potentially coming into more of a midfield role, runs really well and uses the footy really well, so he's someone that comes to mind. Maybe even getting someone like Michael Frederick up onto a wing. He's played a fair bit forward and I know he was injured for the last half of the season. But just giving those guys some more exposure through the midfield, I think, could be exciting.
The value of David Mundy to the young midfielders around him, an amazing season for a guy who was 35 going on 36. But can you talk us through what he brings to the group when he's out there and when you're inside the centre square with him?
Yeah, he's, as you said, it's an amazing effort for him to be at that age and to be playing some of his best footy. But yes, like it's crazy when he comes to a centre bounce how calm and clear he is, and he just has so much experience and knowledge around centre square bounce craft, stoppage craft, and he just knows essentially what to do and when to do it. So when he comes out into a stoppage or a CSB, he'll direct us, he'll discuss with us, talk of a few options really quickly and efficiently, and then he'll just go out and execute exactly what he said was going to happen. So not only as a player being, super dominant, but he was, especially once Fifey was injured towards the end of the season, he really took over as our main leader in there.
22 past 10. This is Sports Talk on ABC Perth and WA. Andrew Brayshaw from the Fremantle Dockers, our Christian medalist for 2021, is our special guest. Mick Malthouse has a couple of questions. Mick.
Andrew, congratulations. Outstanding. Just watching you develop. It's been, of course, one of your old mates down at Geelong, Charlie Constable. I've followed him, and by following him, I follow you. So well done. You don't see him at the club next year, do you? He's not going to be at Geelong, it doesn't appear.
Yeah, I've had a chat to him. I'd love to get him over here. Yeah, I'm not sure what his future holds. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for the listeners, Charlie Constable was drafted, I think, the same year as you, wasn't he, from Melbourne, or was it a year before you?
He was the same year as me. Yeah, we went to school together.
Right.
The same year.
Yeah. Just on again from this side looking across the country, what do you, and I don't need names here because that'd be unfair, but what do you think you guys need most of all to take the next step? Because there's every year it's going to be the next step, and it just doesn't appear to happen, maybe because of injuries and so forth. But what do you feel you need at the football club just to give you that impetus to get into the 8?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think sort of ties into what we were talking about before. I think one of our main areas that we need to improve on is our connection between our midfielders and our forwards. I feel like this year we were really strong out of stoppage, but we struggled to provide really silver service to our forwards to be able to take marks and have shots on goals. So having someone like Chera leave is going to be really tough because he was one of our best ball users inside 50. So I definitely think we'll be looking during the trade period, going into the draft at blokes that have that outside ability to really lace out the forwards and hopefully improve that connection between the two lines.
Do you get disappointed when one of your teammates coming from Victoria? You're a Victorian. I know you've got a brother in the I think he's in the army, so he's all over the place. And you've had a brother move to Western Australia, and you've got others, one in Melbourne, and your family's in Melbourne. Have you got a temptation to talk to him about life and, these things happen, that, if he's one of your best mates, that once you commit yourself to a football club, and we know that family is very strong, and I'm not suggesting for one moment you don't, but, there's an umbilical cord that's got to be cut at some stage. Do you talk to him about that, or don't you get involved in a player coming or going or staying at your organisation?
I definitely try and support the player through the decision. So I've definitely given my advice and my opinion on what I think Ches should have done. But at the end of the day, it's his decision, and I can't really look into exactly what's going on in his life. And everyone prioritises different things and has different opinions on what they want to do in life. So I have to respect what he wants to do, and I think it is the right decision for him, and he's made that quite clear, and I think I just have to respect it. Right,
and just finally from me, you've watched the year unfold. There's 8 sides left. Who, in your opinion, is the most qualified to be playing in those last two, in that last game, the two teams? Who do you think that's worried you the most, or you see as the best sides?
Yeah, well, I think Geelong, when they played us, they really sort of bullied us, I guess. Really strong bodies, and I know they got beaten last night, but they're one that I definitely think will be there or thereabouts come the final week in September. And then the other team, I think, is probably Melbourne. They've got that confidence of just beating Geelong at Geelong for the first time in a long time. So their confidence is definitely going to be up, and I think those two teams for me might be the finalists.
Andrew, just to put Adam's views in some context, obviously your family does have strong community links to Western Australia, but talking to his managers, they believe that the inability to get over to Victoria and see his family without the fear of being able to get out again, and also the inability to get them over here to see him, was a major factor in the decision. How tough has it been for kids with families interstate to deal with over the last 18 months or so because of COVID?
Yeah, it's been super challenging. Obviously, I'm fortunate enough to, like we touched on before, have a couple of brothers over here. Got my grandparents over here, so I have a few family members over here that are able to support me. But for someone who has got drafted over here to WA and have family in another state, and they don't really have any support outside of that, last 18 months has been really challenging. I mean, every time we've travelled, it's been essentially in a bubble, so we can't really go and see anyone, and we haven't been able to, during our holidays, we haven't really been able to go back home due to the fear of having to quarantine on the way back, and that affecting training schedule. So I know everyone in Australia has been dealing with the struggles of the borders and of COVID, but it's definitely been challenging for the players that have been drafted into state. And like I said, I've been fortunate enough from having a few people over here that have been able to support me, but I can't say the same for everyone.
And Mick asked the question about how do you take the next step. Watching from the outside, it seems that a significant part of taking the next step is actually getting your best 22 out there. I've gone back through the games that Justin has coached over the last 2 years. I can't find a game where there's been fewer than 6 of your best 22 sitting in the grandstand. That has to be a priority for the club next year, doesn't it? Like, there's names like Sam Sturt, Michael Frederick, Hayden Young missed a big chunk of this year. Heath Chapman only played 7 games this year before he went down. Joel Hamling's barely played for 2 years. Alex Pearce hadn't played for a couple of years before the second half of this year, and Brennan Cox didn't play the second half of this year. You would go a long way to taking that next step if you could actually get more of them out there more often, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's really challenging when we have guys go down for injuries, and especially long-term injuries really takes its toll on the group. And it seems in the past we've had, a lot of our key players really go down for long periods of time. So, like you said, it's going to be a massive step in us moving forward, and we need to be able to put our best 22 out on the park, and that'll definitely make things easier if we're not injured. So it's going to be a massive focus to really try and, this off-season, toughen our bodies. Our off-season program that we've just been given is slightly different to what we've been doing in the past, a lot more high-intensity stuff, which is hopefully going to help us in the long run with soft tissue injuries. And obviously there's injuries that you can't really control, like concussions and, a collision injury, but the soft tissue stuff we think we can get over.
Last one for you, Andrew, and we appreciate your time. And I know that Nat Fyfe will have this role for a number of seasons, but do you one day aspire to be the Fremantle Dockers captain?
I mean, I guess it's every kid's sort of dream to one day captain a footy club. I guess one day down the track that might come into play, but at the moment I'm happily working away in the leadership group and under the likes of Fyfey and Dave, hopefully for a lot longer, but who knows down the future what might happen.
Andrew, one more for me, and it's a bit of a ticklish one, so I'll understand if you don't really want to go there, but Ross Lyon appears to be well and truly in the frame for the Carlton job. Based on what you saw of Ross and based on what you know about the Carlton list, would he be a good fit for the Blues, do you think?
I'm not really sure about Carlton's list. I haven't really, taken a good look at them. But what I do know is that Ross was a great coach when he was at Freo. I loved him. Adam Chera loved him. So I'm sure they would get along. But, in my first 2 years, I can't really the growth that I had was mainly put towards Ross. So, I definitely think he'd give it a red-hot crack and could take them to really high places. So, I think he'd do a great job.
I'm a bit surprised you don't know a lot about the Carlton list. They were the first ones that had a real go at you, I reckon. They took a good look at you if you didn't take a good look at them.
That's true.
Andrew, well done, Christian medalist for 2021. Thanks for having a chat. Have a good off-season. Look forward to seeing you in action next year.
Thanks very much, guys. Appreciate it.